The Mixhead plugin is based on the SPL Machine digital hardware tape emulation unit. That's right, this plugin is a digital emulation of a digital emulation of tape. The main selling point for this plugin is that all-star Grammy-winning mixing engineer Serban Ghenea uses the hardware in his mixes, and during my review, let's say I now understand why you might want the sound of this particular unit in your mixes. The plugin looks like it's created late 1990s or early 2000s, and I'm not referring to when the original unit was built. You get a, in my opinion, somewhat cheap looking interface and a horrid looking variation on the SPL logo. By the way, SPL didn't seem too happy with the release of this plugin. This power button here is currently not working, and the functionality will be added later to this one for some reason. The plugin emulates three types of tape, which are 15 and 30 inches per second. A 3.75 model was added, which is not on the original hardware. Furthermore, you have input and output gain, drive and high frequency adjust. The input level and drive don't seem to have any difference in behavior between them. It's just extra level. I find it quite hilarious you get this huge amount of presets with this little amount of controls. And it's almost cringe that the only preset by Serban Ghenea changes the color of the plugin, as if the rest is worth less. On the original SPL Machine, SPL collaborated with software developers who were responsible for Steinberg's optional Wavelab plugins back in the day. That code of the Machine Head is not used in Mixhead. Furthermore, the hardware Machine Head is a pure digital machine. There are no analog inputs or outputs. Connecting is done via digital connection only, that means there's no ADDA conversion to be emulated. What surprises me is that nowhere in the manual is mentioned literally that this plugin limits at the output. There's only a notification that the output gain prevents clipping for the next process in the signal chain. Let me show you that limiting when I set the fader to -5 decibels and crank output and input. The level does not exceed -5 decibels. This is not true peak limiting though, small spikes are still getting through. It's also not clipping, because then you wouldn't have seen peaks at all. Use this feature to your advantage. Before we throw the plugin on a few audio tracks and buses, please make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. This video is sponsored by DistroKid, is a popular choice for musicians looking to get your music onto streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. It's fast, easy to use and affordable. Plus, with DistroKid you'll keep 100% of the royalties you earn. Give it a try and see why so many artists are using DistroKid to distribute their music. First, share with DistroKid by using my link in the description below. This plugin can lift, change or add character to basically any audio track or bus. Here are drums. I have used the 15 inch per second tape speed, increased drive to 8, high frequency adjust is set to 2. The output level is -7 decibels for gain compensation. Like this, you lose some directness of mostly the snare. It moves it a bit further back in the sound field. Overall, the drum sound is glued more. On this same song, I now have Mixhead on the master bus with the 3.75 tape emulation. The drive is 2.8, the high frequency adjust is 4.3 and the output gain is -2.7 for level compensation. The overall sound gets fuller in the mid-lows, the guitar is less upfront. It's the same with the drums and the overall impact is reduced. But it all sounds more glued and finished. On dance mixes, I didn't think it improved anything. Let me demonstrate. There's no improvement here, it gets too dense. The 3.75 setting adds too much low end on this particular mix. This tape saturation can really add thickness and firm things up, like on this next bass guitar. I use the 3.75 inch model here. One thing you absolutely don't want to do is to drive the input too loud. It has a very nasty distortion and not in a good way. The CPU usage is very low and latency is basically non-existent. Even though the original hardware had no oversampling, I'd like to see oversampling on this plugin. By itself it does alias a bit and maybe that's part of the charm of the sound, but in 2024 there absolutely should be something to counter aliasing. Even a simple 2x oversampling cleans up the aliasing quite a bit. Sound-wise, the plugin delivers. On both individual tracks and on especially open-sounding group and mixed buses. The price is steep, it's $99 at intro. There is a demo, try it out on your own tracks.